Nationwide Series. He drives the number 7 TaxSlayer.com Chevrolet for JR Motorsports in the Nationwide Series. He's a native New Yorker. Regan, talk about coming here to Watkins Glen. I understand you did a little pace lap out there. Governor said he thought he could pass you, but he said he thought it wasn't a good idea. But anyhow, talk about coming up here, your road course up here at Watkins Glen, and your thoughts about where you are with the championship run in the Nationwide Series.
Well, first off, I had to let him think he could pass me. He is the governor, so you got to show a little respect. And we want him to come back again, so that's all part of it.
You never know.
No, I look forward to coming here. This is, obviously my home racetrack, so it's a big deal for me to come back to it. I wish it was oval as a home racetrack, as was said earlier. Road courses aren't necessarily my strong point, but with that said, if there's a road course that I like and I feel comfortable at, it's the Glen. I've got a lot of laps around here, and felt like last year with the Cup car really started figuring the place out, and that gives me a lot of confidence coming back in the Nationwide car, knowing the things that we've been working on, the equipment that we've got, and the people that we've got. So, cautiously optimistic. I felt like we were going to have a good run at Road America a couple weeks back and battling for the lead, and we see how things can work out at the end of these races sometimes, and that's part of that's part of the road racing that we do. So from that standpoint, looking forward to the weekend, looking forward to lots of friends and family and things like that being around, and getting back on track with the points. We've had a rough 5 or 6 weeks for our team, not performance wise, but just luck or little things happening. Last week I thought we had one of our stronger cars of the year, and we were in position to really do well, and had a bad pit stop, towards the end of the race that put us in the middle of the pack on 2 tires, and was a tough situation to overcome. So, ready to get all that behind us and start gaining back on first again.
Questions now. We'll start here with Reed. We'll go to Claire, and then Dustin.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Regan, Dale Jr. was just in here saying that you'd be the first guy whose name he would put in the hat to sub for Tony Stewart while he's out. In the first place, is that an opportunity that you would relish? And is there any way that you could do Michigan Mid-Ohio if that came to pass?
Well, certainly I appreciate Dale saying that. That means a lot to me, and it's a situation where I think any driver would relish that opportunity. It's just unfortunate under the circumstances. I don't think any of us, and unfortunately I have experience with this last year, none of us ever wish to get an opportunity because our competitors have an issue or get injured. And first and foremost, we're thinking about Tony and him getting better as soon as he can, and his safety and health. But outside of that, it's going to be a great opportunity for somebody to hop into a fast race car and get a chance to showcase themselves. And I certainly would be open to the possibilities of that. I haven't even looked at the schedule for Mid-Ohio and Michigan personally, so I couldn't even tell you how they line up. I didn't figure they would. I know we got a lot of practice time at Mid-Ohio, so you just cross that bridge whenever it comes time, and you see how things line up.
Let's go to Claire and then Dustin.
Claire Beelang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Regan, like you said, you'll cross the bridge when it all comes to be, but how much input do you have in on that? How much do you know of what they're talking about? And how much do you think it would help you, as Dale Jr. said, to get showcased on the Cup side, if indeed it does happen?
Well, I think it's a lot of hypotheticals right now. I mean, I don't know the situation. I don't know, what the folks at Stewart-Haas are having to work around and things like that. So I can't speak to any of that. Other than the fact that I know, it's a situation where they're concerned about their driver and getting him healthy. So, short of just simply stating the obvious that it's a fast race car and whoever gets that opportunity, is obviously going to get a chance to showcase their abilities. And that does not happen every day in our sport, that seats of that quality open up for whatever reason it may be.
And even though you say, and racers feel like this, you never want to fill in for a guy because he's injured, obviously. Have you done that before? What's it like to get in somebody else's car and do that? What's the mentality?
The guy that was sitting up here right before me, I got in his car last year. So, it's a weird situation. I think for me last year when that happened with Dale, We had been talking on the nationwide side on things prior to that anyways, so there was, some relationship started there from that standpoint. But it happened so quick on that particular one. There was no time to think about it, and there was no time to really say, oh, man, is there pressure or is there anything like that comes along with this? It was more or less, I think it was Thursday morning or Wednesday morning. I don't remember which day we checked into Charlotte, but Thursday, I think. It was nothing more than a phone call first thing in the morning and get here as quick as you can. And it happened so fast. It seemed like, by the time I had a chance to really think about what was going on, I was, we were already qualifying, and Friday was really the first opportunity I had to sit back and say, okay, get your wits about you and focus on making the race car fast for the weekend and doing your job.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin Long, Motor Racing Network. Regan, if you look at the 14, certainly at times you have done double duty this season. You've done it a few times. But if you get into that car, whether it's Michigan or beyond, what have you, the Cup and nationwide schedule lines up pretty well for the rest of the season. What would be the challenges? What's the mental checklist you have to go through in being in that situation if you were to go back and forth in essence of competing for a nationwide championship while also, certainly trying to do what you can on the 14 team? Because you really haven't gone back and forth a whole lot on a regular basis in your career. So this potentially could be a week-to-week type of thing. What's the challenges? What do you have to think about in something like that?
Well, again, I'm strictly speaking hypothetically on all this stuff, and it's a situation. I guess you're definitely aware of it, yes, and you think about it and you think, okay, if somebody calls and this is what needs to happen, how do you handle this situation? The obvious challenges would be the simple fact that you have a Cup program that's going to be able to contend for the Owners' Championship, possibly in the chase if things work out well for it, and you've got a nationwide program and team, which is my team, that's contending for a championship as well. So you've got those two things that you have to find the balance of and make sure that both teams are getting 100% of your focus and commitment at those times. And I would say just over and above, that's the toughest part of it. There's a lot of other elements to it that come to going back and forth within the series, and that's all stuff that you work through and you find the time, for different things, whether it's debriefs and things like that. But certainly you got to give them all, 100% focus.
As hard as that might be, in essence, is it simple because, like you say, the two potentially championship type of cars, you just make it happen whatever way you can.
Yeah, you do. I think, it doesn't hurt that both teams are championship caliber teams, and that certainly means that everybody's got the experience and the the thought process and the know-how to go about it the right way and to do things the right way. So, I think that would help to make it easier. But again, everything's hypothetical, and there's a lot of things that I'm sure are being thought about and worked on, and you just got to wait and see.
Bob Pockris, raise your hand, please. We'll get Bob a microphone. Over here.
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. Just to have you talked to anybody about that ride? And then also, do you know what you guys, as far as nationwide goes, would you all practice in the rain at all today?
The practice thing's a good question. I know we have the rain tires here, and I know that we would practice in the rain. We did it at Road America, so I'm assuming we would do it here. The tough situation for us and the tough juggling act, and we face this at Road America as well, is do you go out in the rain, risk damaging a car when you don't anticipate rain the next day, in which case you would have qualifying and things like that. I don't know if we don't get any dry practice today. I don't know if we would practice tomorrow and set the times on practice speeds. I'm not well versed enough in that, and we went through the same thing at Road America a few weeks back where we were kind of spending as much time in Wayne Hutton's office asking questions, and partially because I just don't know how it works with the rain procedure as well as I probably should. But we'll figure that out when the time comes. If it's still raining, which I'm assuming it's probably going to be. At 1:40 when our practice starts, then I'll sit in the trailer with Greg and we'll discuss the options and come up with what's best. As for the other question, short of text messaging, no, it's just been stuff like that. So their plate's been full over there. I'm pretty confident in that fact, and just getting through Watkins Glen's got to be the priority right now, I'm sure.
Let's go with Jeff right over here, the blue shirt. Raise your hand, Jeff. You need a microphone.
Regan, Jeff Klukowski, WSYR TV here in Syracuse. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like for a guy who grew up in Central New York here, probably maybe dreamt of racing here one day, what it's like to be at this level, racing nationwide, cup level, and here in Watkins Glen, I guess kind of your home track?
Yeah, it's it's a big deal. It's anytime you get to come to your home track and race at a place that you grew up watching as a kid and being around as a kid. You get that extra level of excitement. As I said before, I wish it. I shouldn't say I wish it wasn't a road course, but road courses aren't necessarily my strong suit. So it's a little more of a challenge for me to come here, and I think that would make a win here even bigger for me, just from the simple fact that I'm not known for my road racing background. But I used to sit over in turns 10 and 11 in the grandstands as a kid over there. I think it was 10 and 11, maybe at the exit of turn 10. I think there was a grandstand you could see all the way down to the carousel. And a lot of my earliest memories as a kid and coming to the racetrack and watching the guys that I idolized and looked up to as heroes were here at the Glen. And, I don't think when and I don't know the exact age I would have been, when I was here, probably anywhere from 5 to 11 or 12 before we moved to the Carolinas. I don't think when you're that age, you're necessarily watching it thinking, oh man, I might be out there doing that someday. At that time, you're sitting there thinking, man, these guys are cool and they seem larger than life. And how awesome is this? They were, as I said, they were my sports heroes growing up. So to be able to realize that and get an opportunity to go out and do that makes it pretty special. Central New York still
hold a pretty good place in your heart. I mean, we see that hometown, Cato, New York. A lot of people around here love to see that from you.
Yeah, well, it is my hometown, so it's always going to be there. I was born in Syracuse and raised in Cato, so it's hometown and a lot of family here. The majority of my family's still here, and certainly a lot of roots in this area, and family still has some business ties up here and things like that. So it plays a big part in my heart, and definitely look forward to getting here to race and be around whenever we can. Thanks.
Let's go right here to Brian. Raise your hand, please.
Thank you, Kerry. Brian Nelson, MotorRacingNetwork.com. Regan, 2 road courses in a row. And you and Sam tied for second. Austin told us last week that he feels like he's just got to get through these 2 weeks here. What's your mentality, especially knowing Sam's skill for racing on road course events? What's your mentality heading into back-to-back road course races in comparison, in light of the championship hunt?
Well, my mentality is we're coming here to gain points on all of our competitors. When I say that road racing isn't necessarily my forte, that doesn't mean I'm not 100% confident when I get out there. I felt like we had a shot to win at Road America if things maybe played out in our favor. At worst case, I thought we were a third place car. We ran, pretty solidly around third and fourth for the majority of that race. That's not going to be any different here. And we're coming with the mentality that this is an opportunity for us to gain points, just like every week is. But, it pays the same 47 points to win here that it's going to at Mid-Ohio and that it's going to at Bristol. And that's how we're looking at every race the rest of this year. Thanks.
Got time maybe for one more. Anybody? Right over there. Gentleman on the left. And he'll be our last one.
Regan, I'm Nick DeGuerro for Speedway Mediacom. My question is, if you were to take over the wheel of the 14 car, do you think that could negatively affect your, taking away focus from your nationwide car? Do you think that could negatively affect you, or would that actually be positive for you having more seat time?
Well, I think, I'm a believer in seat time. And again, this is all speaking hypothetically. I want to make sure I put that out there. So, but I'm a big believer in seat time and getting laps on racetracks as much as you can. And I don't think there's any situation where laps on a racetrack can negatively affect you. I just don't see that being the case. I think that the races I did in the Cup stuff earlier this year, if you look at how we ran in the nationwide car, we ran pretty strongly at all those places. So, I don't see it being a negative at all.